That's what I was born with. Ready to fillet the world. I spray my juice, sow my seed, and all that shit. Yeah. I take it we're recording. That's why I said that shit.
Yeah, might
Yeah.
stop.
Episode 44. It is 44 this week. Welcome everybody. Welcome Jimmy. I love you.
Hello.
Happy Father.
How are you?
I'm good. Quick happy day to everyone out there. I woke up to a fry up this morning. It's very nice. The single guys that are struggling with their demonic exes to try and fight for their kids. This goes out to you.
Because anyone with a family that's still together doesn't need the help. It's all the demonic exes.
It's a terrible world to live in. I've been there. The guys that do, work tirelessly to make sure their children are happy. Happy Father's Day to you all. And like I said on Facebook this morning, even if it's a tissue baby that you've made, we love you.
So do I get to celebrate it this year, or do I have to wait till next year? Because I've cooked the fry up this morning.
I didn't know what to say on this episode, to be honest. I didn't want to,
It's all out there now. Family members know. Everyone knows.
Well, congratulations, Jimmy. His dick works. I just got to let neighbours moving in next door. My window's open, and they've just heard me shout, "His dick works." Thank you. Oh, look, my wife bringing me coffee. Really is a special day.
Yeah, this is what we need. Does she want a job, like a full-time?
Yeah, she can be a PA for the show.
Yeah, man.
Fuck the coffee, make with a blowjob. Now, congratulations, man, on your news.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so all we need to do is make sure that the show's running for like another 5 or 6 years until we can get a little. It's known at the moment as Baby Groot.
Groot.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jr.
And then we can have a third panel member.
So in case you didn't guess it from our kind of obscure way of saying that, Jimmy's pregnant, so he's having a baby with his missus, and we're really happy for him at Thors-Kin, and long time coming. So I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's sort of like still sinking in, still scary, but getting excited now.
Oh, it won't hit you till like you're in the labour ward, I'm telling you.
Yeah. We were talking this morning, we were just like saying all these like, perfect like rose garden views of family life and everything, and then we just looked at each other just like, oh, it's so not going to work out like that.
I mean, this baby doesn't stand a chance. It's going to have to fight for space in its bedroom for board games, for starters.
Yep. It's going to have to fight for time for video games.
Yeah, it's going to be a Marvel fan.
At least it's not going to be a DC fan. There's nothing worse. Imagine doing that to a child, bringing a child into the world as a DC fan.
Do you know what? Right, I've had no influence in Timmy's upbringing as far as comic books concerned. I'm a massive DC fan. Everybody knows that, and he's Marvel everything. Honestly, he's got Avengers on most of his T-shirts. He does nothing
because it's the right thing. See, this is what happens when you don't put on a kid your own influence. That's what happens. They become Marvel fans over DC fans. Simple. There's your answer. Which is better?
If he grows up like me to love both, then
such a
I'll be
dirty
happy.
neutral. You just do it for the clicks so that you can get a bigger market.
Also, I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Matt Rubis. He's a really long time friend of mine. A few days ago, about 9 days ago, he didn't give birth. His missus gave birth to their first kid. Olivia, see him yesterday. I love that guy like a brother, and just to see him quite worryingly with a child, to be honest, it was quite nice. Now I've seen that guy turn out to, he's grown up, like I've grown up with him, and I've seen him grow up from like a raging party animal to somebody that will just care and love for a child. So congratulations, buddy.
Awesome.
Okay,
can we keep our shout outs to that this week? Oh, go on.
Yes.
Go on. Yes.
No.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's it. No, yes. I did.
Woo! Let's get on with the show. 4 minutes in.
How you been anyway, mate?
Busy. Obviously trying to keep everything, all that news in. Just had loads on in the background, but this week has just taken.
You're an asshole, right? You knew when we went to watch Deadpool. You knew.
Yeah, but I couldn't trust you not to be overly excited, like you are right now.
You know, bastards, you made me cry because what happened was, right, I had family member around, we had dinner, and then you rang just after dinner, you told me this, then I had to get ready and go to work, so I didn't have time to process any of this. I was happy, obviously, on the phone, but then I was driving to work, and that was alone time, and that's when it just sunk in, and I cried on the way to work, because I'm just really happy for you. So,
oh, thank you.
No.
Such a gay. Well, anyway, this week has taken such everything's gone on the back burner because I just said to my girlfriend, I was just like, it's E3 week. This is my Christmas. Leave me alone. And she's been awesome. She's let me watch absolutely everything. Instead of films and series in the evenings, I've bored her shitless with gameplay and conferences and everything. So, yeah, it's been an awesome week catching up with everything. Really excited to go into certain things today because it's been a lot of big news. It's not been a letdown of an E3, all but one conference.
I think it's been a massive E3. From what I remember, this has been like I've got like loads. I've got a million post-its in front of me now, notes I've taken, and the games on these notes are just crazy. So
there's never been a bigger one. I don't think. Like usually E3, there's the big years are when a console drops and it's hardware talk and it's fanboys battling out of which one's more powerful and exclusives and features and power and FPS and all that kind of stuff. This year, it's just been about this is where we are. This is where we're going. This is what we've got right now. Here are the games. I don't think there's... IGN released a really nice looking calendar of all the games, 2018, 2019, and then to be confirmed. And there's not a shit game on there. Yes, there's a personal preference list of, yeah, I'm not really interested in X, Y, and Z on there. But they're all still big games.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Awesome. There's like 30-odd awesome, massive games.
I'll tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is, got all these post-its here. I'm going to go right to left because I'm going to be an orcs. And maybe I shout out a post-it I've got here, and you say your thoughts on it. And then you'll need to add things on as well because I did miss a couple of the shows.
Won't you ask nicely?
I hope that gets picked up. I was like, what's going on? Someone's just barged into the room. I've just been told off, apparently. I was just like, one of the dogs is coming in through the wall. Like it's got, it's evolved into the raptor from Jurassic Park. It can open up door knobs now.
It could be worse. It could be we could have a recording of Gemma walking in and going, "I've just done a shit and it won't go down." By the way, these guys have been blackmailing me with footage that they've got of me saying that for years. Yeah, so you add on to these post-its because they only call Xbox Play.
The Xbox and the EA Play one that you caught, wasn't it? Let's go through them sort of, not necessarily in order, but let's not skip back and forth because as we're going through them, it'd be interesting to talk about what it means to the company and everything as well. So should we get the boring one out of the way with first? Where there's one good thing to talk about. Let's do EA. FIFA, Madden, boring, same shit, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then there was
empty promises.
Yeah, just complete bullshit. What I was surprised with was fair play to them for coming out and actually saying when they bought Battlefront 2 up, they actually publicly acknowledged this is how to send your stocks plummeting in a company, is acknowledging you've had a shit year, that you made wrong decisions, and please bear with this, we're going to be better. They came out and just we've had a rocky start, but we're determined to make this a better product for you. Thank you for sticking around. I was just like, and you're going to be worth a lot less in 2 hours' time when that hits the fucking Wall Street.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be bothered by something like that. They're massive, they're making games.
Yeah, they'll bounce back, but that is how you send your stocks plummeting, is by publicly acknowledging shit like that. It was really, really boring. I was just like, this is the first year that Battlefield hasn't interested me. Usually it looks good and it gets me interested. it didn't really get me at all. The only thing that got me was right at the end when they started showing Anthem. And please,
Anthem,
dude, you have got to get this game.
Oh, it does, and it does excite me. And it's like they put all their chickens in one basket, their eggs in one basket. They put all their efforts into Anthem because it is just like a hybrid between your Call of Duties, your Halos, and your Division. You know, as if you could have something in between, not the Division,
Destiny.
Destiny.
Yeah.
As if you can have something in between Destiny and Halo. Those games are so similar.
Yeah.
But it is. It's a hybrid of those games, and they've taken all the best bits out of your FPSs and they've just put it into one game.
The thing is, a Division's a really, really good example to give there because that's just come out on Game Pass, so I've just downloaded that and started playing. I was really excited at the start of the generation to pick it up, and I didn't, and it got loads of negative press. I thought, I'll leave that. I just started playing it. I've really enjoyed it. It's a third-person shooter, loot-based, open world, all of that kind of stuff. That's what Anthem is. It's a third-person shooter. It's first when you go back to the hub, so it's like the exact opposite of Destiny. So Division's a really good example to actually bring up, even though like you didn't mean to. What I'm excited about is this is BioWare's A-Team. This is Casey Hudson, the writer of Mass Effect. This is why Mass Effect Andromeda was shit, because they had their B-Team in place. This has got all the storytelling elements built into that. They were going in on stage about how they've separated, out in the open world, everyone experiences that world in the same way. It's got all the same weather effects happening at once, a la Forza 4. I can't wait to get into that. And then when you go back into the hub, that's when you get your story mode delivered. And I've been sat there for ages thinking, why is no one separating that open world story where you can't, that open world gameplay where you can't deliver story because your friends are pressing start to skip to the raid? Why is no one separating that to deliver gameplay and story elements when you're back at the hub, when you're taking it slow by yourself? This is doing it. And it's doing it with Iron Man suits, and it's doing it with Mass Effect writers, and I'm just so fucking hyped for this game.
And that's what I was going to add, actually. It's funny you should say Iron Man, because I was going to say, this is the Iron Man game that we wanted.
Yeah, we didn't get Avengers show up this E3, so I was just like, someone put out, just like, Anthem looks incredible, and I was like, dude, I'm the biggest Halo fan. The Anthem, to me, negates a need for a new Halo, negates a need for a new Destiny or a Division, negates a need for the new Infinity War, Avengers game, whatever it is, to actually be any decent. Anthem has it all. So this is my one game.
And speaking of Halo, we get a new Halo. Hey.
Yeah, well, seeing as that literally is E3 EA wrapped up.
Yeah, well, I don't want to spend too long talking about that because I've got about 18 million post-its in front of me.
So, Microsoft. So, obviously, I'm an Xbox fanboy. I've been teetering on the PlayStation side of things because of the games that they're putting out at the moment. This E3 just completely drew me back to the green side. I was just like, you started off with Halo Infinity and you had the Halo 3 music.
It was amazing. We didn't see an awful lot.
Well, it was a game engine demo, wasn't it?
Yeah, so there's a long way to go with that, I think. But the whole fact that we're getting a new Halo game is great. It has made me want to go back and play Halo 5. I hope they fix Cortana because I do actually miss Cortana's like just normal Cortana where she's just salty and funny, and
So this is my thing. My thoughts for Halo Infinite. You look at the word on Halo 5, Guardians, and it was Guardians because of the Guardians. I think you need to read into what the word Infinite means with this. So they've put on Waypoint that this is definitely a Master Chief story. It's definitely running at takes place 2 years after Halo 5. So while it's not called 6, this is Halo 6. This isn't like he's going back to his old armor, for instance. This isn't remaking Halo 1. This is a continuation in the story. I've got a feeling that Cortana, because obviously she's transcended past the 7-year rampancy thing, she is, it's going to be cheesy the way I'm going to phrase it, but like she is infinite at this point. She is like taking up the mantle of the Reclaimer to stop the flood and all of the the whole story with 4 and 5. I think if you remember back into Halo 4, the librarian sort of planted the seed for human evolution, and it all culminated in John, the Master Chief. Like, that was the end game, wasn't it? And just before the Didact did that weird pulse that wiped out loads of organic matter across the galaxy, Chief survived because she activated something in him. I think there's going to be more to Chief, where he isn't just a Spartan. There's going to be something in him. So whether it's Chief or Cortana, there's going to be some sort of play on the word infinite, of like a longevity thing, like you are immortal in some sort of way. And I think this story is going to be about Chief and Cortana again, bringing that back.
You know what it is, don't you? They've listened to Superhero Bar Fight and they've gone, oh man, you're right. They're so right. He gets put against someone that's meta as fuck, like, and doesn't stand a chance. Let's make him immortal.
Yes. Either that or it's a gameplay indication. So when you log into Halo 5 and the thing flashes up on the weekly news, right at the end, they give all the bump for check out Halo Infinite, and the end phrase is taking the Halo franchise in new and unexpected directions. There's a lot of talk, and I don't know how I feel about this. One, a more open world environment, which you can do, but keep it still a Halo game. Yeah, and I like that. The bit that I'm not sure about is the talk about having it a Destiny-like, a loot-based 4 friends going in, doing your raids and stuff. I don't think it will.
It's kind of loot-based because you got to get your points. You got to get the cards and so it's kind of loot-based anyway.
Not really. The campaign is just a campaign. There's the wreck thing in Warzone. Yes, but that's just a multiplayer mode. We've just going to have to wait. Like, we could talk about it all day, but I just think the story itself is going to be back to Chief, back to Cortana, and I hope they have Arbiter back. Gone.
We're gonna see Halo. We're gonna see the Master Chief in World War II, straight up slaying everyone, not just the Germans, but the Americans, the British. He just fucking straight up annihilating people.
But I loved. Did you see the armor at the end where they've gone back to Halo 3 armor, but new? Like, I think this is actually, they're not going to be, because this is what was confusing people about, what time frame is it? You've gone back to old armor, but freshened it up. I think this is just going to be the next generation of armor. How you had, the Mjolnir armor, at generation 4, 5, 6, all the way through Halo 1 through to 5. This is going to be generation 7 armor. I really do, but they're just taking an aesthetic look to make it more traditional. They're taking it. It's set on Halo.
That's what I asked for. I said I want a Halo.
Yeah, it's just gonna feel exactly like what we wanted out of 5.
And seeing him standing there holding his helmet as well, I said, "Don't you fucking dare!"
Yeah, don't you turn around and show us your face, motherfucker.
I don't want to see that shit. That's like a reveal in the Joker origin story. That's one of those things I always want to, because he sounds like the guy from Ice Age, Diego. He's got that real gruff voice when he talks, and he's just like you don't. He has no face to me. He just has that helmet.
The thing is, if ever you've seen the voice actor for that, he looks like a dad, and if he looked any different than just the voice actor, I'd be disappointed, but also excited at the same time. I wouldn't know. They couldn't make Master Chief look right if they tried. They would come into so much hate if they went with the bold / gingery short hair look, because they have shown Master Chief without his helmet as a kid, but not grown up. And obviously he went through the grueling augmentations where everyone's got like weird eyes and bald head and pale skin. Like,
I want him to be a gay black woman.
Wow.
just to annoy people. Anyway, let's move on from there. Microsoft, still sticking with Microsoft. Let's go with Crackdown. What did you think of that?
If we're comparing this showing of Crackdown to the last showing of Crackdown, then it looks a hell of a lot cleaner. I still want them to get on stage and show the 100% Destruction multiplayer, but this was their chance to do so. Unless it comes at Gamescom, that's not going to happen. We've got a release date of February, 22nd, like every other game that was showed at E3, that it's all releasing February next year. But yeah, I can't wait for that.
It seems like a Right Guard advert. You know, it's just Terry Crews screaming at the camera.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like...
It was even more excited than when he was doing the shampoo stuff.
Yeah. Okay, then let's get the big Microsoft one out the way. Then Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah, I want to spend a bit of time on this one. So, did you click that it was Britain straight away, or I was trying to did you? I was trying to figure it out. I was like, what?
As soon as I saw sheep, I was like, that's Wales. It's got to be Wales.
That game is going to sell like hotcakes over here. It looked unreal as well.
It's the color seasons, the way it all changes and molds, and there's a bit of destructibility in it as well. Hopefully, you can take out some speed cameras. That people will love that shit.
Yeah,
and you can make towns look exactly like Telford, with broken signposts everywhere and tyre marks.
People are just like, I'm not looking forward to the new pothole mini games. Just like prank your suspension on as many potholes as you can in 30 seconds.
250 mile an hour down the road, a pothole sends you into a sheep barn.
Oh, they've got loads of locations as well. They've got the cliffs of Dover, they've got Edinburgh, they've got the valleys in Wales, they've got everything in there. And I was listening to them when they did the live coverage with Mixer afterwards, where they sat the Scottish guy, I can't remember his name, Ralph something or the head of Playground. And he was just like, the same as Australia, we're going to have all these locations, we're going to mash them all together, it's not going to be geographically accurate. And he was just like, if just go somewhere else if you want geographically accurate games. We're all about the fun.
Could you imagine that? I'm stuck on the M1, I can't get to my...
I just can't wait. And Game Pass day one. This is linking back to our conversation before of you don't have to go in and buy the entire game with all the DLC now. You can just spend your money on the DLC and you can get the full game day one.
When that woman came out and started talking about Game Pass, I was like,
oh, she was boring the tits off me as well.
And she was like, we've got Fallout 4, and I was just like, and we've got. I was just like,
Division's good,
and
man.
Then yeah.
Anyway, so seasons.
Seasons,
jeez. What have you got there? Game Pass, fast start. Mate, I still don't know what fast start means.
I was more directing you to the guy asleep in bed that I drew on that night when I was watching that.
Everyone's going to get sound effects. This is what happens now. We're getting less and less professional all the time. People are getting door opening sound effects. So it's Thors-Kin podcast in 4D. Screw it. Seasons, man. Seasons.
Yeah.
Have you read a lot into any of the other interviews on how it affects gameplay and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did. Well, during the conference, they said that you're going to have lakes freeze up so you can drive over and get to other areas, and there's going to be a lot of mud and slide in some places, so it's going to make it a bit more difficult. Yeah. But what I want to know is are we going to get, how night, day, night, rains, is that going to be it? Are we going to get faster seasons, or is it going to be like a whole month of...
Right, okay, so they explain this on the interviews afterwards. So seasons are going to last a week. So in a month, you're going to go through all 4 seasons, which means every time you log in, there's going to be a new way of tackling that track. You're going to have to go in with a 4x4 1 week. Then you're going to be able to go through it in, a Nissan Skyline and drift around it. And then you're going to be able to go through it in a Lamborghini, and then you're going to be back into your snow tires in, a Gymkhana fucking Ford Focus RS, and then you're going to be back into your 4x4. So there's going to be always something changing. There's going to be different layers to the tracks each season. You're still going to have your weather, I think. You're still going to have your day and night cycles. It's just every year, Playground just raised the bar. And they're making Forza Motorsport, which is the greatest racing series ever. It put Gran Turismo into the background where no one cares about it. It's putting them on notice.
What I'm going to say is that with Forza Horizon 3, I'd always look at that and make this game any more perfect. It's beautiful. I'll just drive around, like, looking at things and taking pictures and things, you know. But with the whole addition of seasons and the way the tracks can change, where you're going to get a more sludgy, slippier track in the autumn or something, you know, that's added a whole new dimension to what they've already created.
Yeah, and
that to me is unbelievable.
And they're going to have like extra, like, new content with every season, so that they're changing it up slightly. So they said, you know, every week is going to be different, but then every season is going to be slightly different as well, where they can theme it for whatever's happening in the real world at the time. So, you know that week 4 in December, you know, the winter season in December is going to be all Christmas based, and there'll be an Easter based one, and then there'll be, you know, like a summer one, you know, like a St. Paddy's Day one, where everything's got green bits everywhere. Yeah. It's just, I just can't wait for it.
I saw on the trailer motor bikes. I don't know if they're non-player or if they're just aesthetic.
I think they're aesthetic in the same way as the showcases. Yeah, the trains and the blimps and the red arrows. I think it's just a showcase thing, mate, to be honest. I wouldn't... I
think... Yeah, exactly. That's what you're going to say. I wouldn't mind bikes at all.
Yeah, if anyone was going to do it, I'd rather play a Playground Games take on dirt bikes and super bikes than MotoGP 19. Do you know what I mean? Like, because no one really does good bikes. The crew certainly doesn't.
Do you remember when Project Gotham introduced bikes? It just killed it. Absolutely killed it. That was one of the best games out there at the time. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. We could sit here and jack off to Forza all day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Devil May Cry, because I know.
Should we, before we get into that, because we've talked about some exclusives first off, let's talk about one more, and then let's go into the studio segment. Let's keep it a bit structured. So, Rod Ferguson comes out on stage. Let's
go on.
Let's do these first. And Gears of War. Starting off, I was not expecting a new Gears of War, and when he came out and introduced Gears Pop on a mobile thing, I was just like, yeah, 2 minutes. That's what I was expecting. Oh, and then we've got Gears Tactics. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Okay, there's a PC strategy game coming. Oh, that's cool. And then there's Gears 5. I was just like, it's in development. Great, we'll hear about that in 2 years' time. And here's some gameplay. I was like, what? I was just like, what the? How have they managed to get Gears 5 like a year away from... Well, maybe not quite a year, but it looks pretty full on.
Is that a good thing? Remember Assassin's Creed? What happened with them when they started rolling them off the conveyor?
Well, what you got to think is that Gears is, what, a year or 2 years old now? A year old. So if they have another release that this time next year, or holiday next year, that would have been a 2-year cycle. Not necessarily. You've got to think how big the Coalition is. Like 343 and Coalition for Microsoft aren't just like AAA studios, they're quadruple A studios. They've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. They're outsourcing Gears Pop and Tactics, so this is their only game that they're actually working on. They're not actually physically working on all three. And it looks like a very souped up version of Gears 4, to be honest. It doesn't look like there's a whole new generation of graphics. So I think they've opened up the world, given it a lick of paint, and just gone like, let's push on with the story. Nothing necessarily wrong with that, as long as they don't keep doing so.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like, oh, we're going to get Gears of War every year, and all of a sudden, like, they do an Assassin's Creed on you, and be like, no, actually, you have to wait for the next one, guys.
They can't do that. But I'm really excited to see Kate as the lead character. You're going to be playing as Kate now. JD looks rugged as hell. Who do you think the guy who died is, though? Do you think it's going to be the old guy, whatever his name is?
I don't care, to be honest.
Oh, Al, how dare you?
I'm not a big Gears fan. I play Horde with you. I really enjoy playing Horde with you, but I've never I've explained this a few times on the show. I think Gears of War. You're gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm gonna quit the show. It's the most overrated game in history. They just literally run, duck, fire cover, launch a long, weird, windy grenade at people, and duck cover. I like the monsters. It reminds me of Lord of the Rings, with the trolls and stuff, because it gets quite meaty. There was one level, actually, I think it was that I really liked, where you had to jump on top of this giant thing that was walking, and you had to try and take it down whilst trying to defend yourself from the enemies that were attacking you. I really like that. It was chaos, and it was actually really innovative. But
I think you need to sit down and actually properly play them and get into the story. But there's nothing wrong. This is the whole thing. Is that when I said to you at the start, that list of games where each one is huge. There's always going to be personal preference. There's nothing wrong with not being into something that everyone says you should be. Right, now that we've got that out of the way, there are a few other exclusives, but they're the three big ones. The studios thing. This might not be something that you're massively into, but for the longest time, the Xbox Twitter community and the YouTube community, more than anything, have gone with a slogan sort of started by a certain one person of be the behemoth that you are, rather than sort of putting out these £30 games like State of Decay and Recore and stuff like that. And just start throwing your weight around, because Sony is worth 1% of what you are, yet you're second place to them. And this year was when they did that, when Phil Spencer stood on stage and was like, yeah, we're doubling down on first party, so we've acquired Playground. Oh, we've acquired Undead Labs. Oh, we've acquired Compulsion Games. Oh, and we've acquired someone else. And then where it's like, and we've acquired Ninja Theory, who did Hellblade, which are just like top fucking tier graphics and story and everything like that. 5 new studios, and that he said that's like they're still going. They're still setting up and building new studios. Oh, the other one was The Initiative, wasn't it? Which is a ground up studio, starting from fresh. We are going to start seeing a lot more first party games coming out from the Microsoft camp. That was one of the biggest exciting things for me.
Yeah, it shows that they're going to be putting a lot more effort into the exclusive AAA games, which is what we wanted. It's exactly what you mentioned to me about 6 months ago when we were talking about how Xbox are struggling, because I'm fed up with these games like Sea of Thieves and the shitty, they're not brilliant games. They're not. I mean, people like Sea of Thieves, and they really, if you like it, you like it. But to me, it's like Spyro plays Pirate. Let's make something that works like that, but looks fucking beautiful.
Well,
and that's what they can do with this.
For me, I disagree with you on Sea of Thieves, because that is what it's meant to be. It's just a different type of game. But something like State of Decay is where I would sort of like jump on and take your comment and ride with it. There is, I've done nothing but play State of Decay since it came out. It is a phenomenal game. Like, the gameplay is absolutely brilliant, but it's buggy. It takes a long time to load. It should look a lot better than it does. And that's because they were still a third-party studio. They've now acquired them, and they can make all that extra investment. And if State of Decay 3 can come out looking like Gears 5, that's the difference, isn't it? That's what you're getting at, is that level of polish that you seem to get with every PlayStation game seems to be lacking. The gameplay's there, but the artistic polish isn't. And I think that's what they can do now, is they can say, right, you're under our hood, here's the money.
taking a Porsche 911 engine and stick it in an Austin Metro. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
perfect metaphor. Did you have any shocks? Anything that really took eyes that you didn't think you'd like the look of,
yeah. A
but
huge one.
absolutely blew you?
Kingdom
Which one's
Hearts.
that? Yeah, I've got that right here. Yeah.
It looked like a
First
Pixar
of
movie.
all, my first line was "fuck Frozen."
Fuck Frozen. Yes. Right. Let me do my file thing before we move on, just so we don't start losing everything. Yeah, I'd agree with you there. Definitely fuck Frozen. But we'll have everything else. Toy Story.
Yeah, I've written a little list. There's Wreck-It Ralph, Hercules, Toy Story, Monsters Inc. There's so many characters in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It looks brilliant.
It does, and the graphics look amazing. My only thing is, when I get it, I know that I'll start playing it. I'll just be like, oh, it's too Japanesey. I don't like that whole where everything sounds like you're listening to a porno with no visuals. Like it just, I know that I'll get it because Gemma will want it, and I'll enjoy it less than I think I will. But it got me really hyped for something I didn't think I would.
Do you want me to shock you a little bit?
What?
I love Kingdom Hearts. Absolutely love Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I did play it when I was younger, and it's got a huge following. And I am really excited for this because people have waited so long for a new Kingdom Hearts, and so much effort goes into them. I was watching a video about the original Kingdom Hearts games a while ago, and they're saying it took so much effort to get these characters looking perfect because Disney would have it no other way.
Yep.
So when you get a Kingdom Hearts game, you know you're getting top quality animation and graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that means something. Like I said, you know, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. The battle looks great. I mean, I think the story's going to be good. I mean, I'm not too keen on Frozen, but out of all the Disney characters, if you're going to do a superhero bar fight thing on Disney characters, I think what's the name out of Frozen would be you know, up there at the top. So
yeah,
good idea to go.
It
with
looks
that.
like there's loads of variation in the gameplay as well. Like you take out the story element bits where it's just the cutscenes. Everything looks like every piece of gameplay that they show is like they've taken like almost like a mini game, and it's just like there's going to be level upon level where there's just different gameplay mechanics, and that's what's great about Kingdom Hearts. I'm not huge on them personally, but I know that people are, and that it was one that surprised me. Of that's it's on my radar. My second one was Devil May Cry, because I know you wanted to get into that, so we'll jump back to that.
I've got a bigger shock
mama.
than that after this, but Devil May Cry, it looks amazing. I just went, wow.
Yeah. So I didn't play 3 or 4, I don't think so. There's new characters in there, like his stepbrother and things like that. That I think he's called Nero. I don't even know the character because I've only played 1 and 2. So my knowledge of Devil May Cry is Dante, like most people's is. But there's been games since there that expand on the story. I'm not even going to begin to pretend like I know what's going on in Devil May Cry at the moment. But the graphics, the gameplay, it just looks so good.
It's hard to believe that it's Capcom making that, isn't it? You look at that and you think, that's Capcom and me. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. I love how funky it looks. I've written funky down here. It's like proper, you know, it's almost like what Call of Duty tried to do with zombies last year. You know, they tried to funk it up a little bit, you know, add a bit of spice. That'll work. That will work, you know. Imagine fucking slaying giant beasts and vampires and stuff to disco music. Yes, give me more of that, bitch.
Yeah. Did you play the new Devil May Cry, well, the most recent one, where they tried to reboot it?
No, I didn't. I should have, because I do you know what? Like the first runs of Devil May Cry, I played the shit out of them. I loved them so much. You could just, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't a very hard game. You could walk in and you could just obliterate everything, and that's why I loved it, you know.
Yeah, that's what I want out of this one, is to get that, you know, dual pistol juggling, the sword combos, the over the topness. I want like Lordy playing in the background. It's just like just over the top death metal music in the background. Throw it at me all day long. I'm so ready for a new Devil May Cry game.
Like, so you want death metal rather than taki taki ta, yitako mataka.
Yeah, because you'll get all of that in Kingdom Hearts. This is like Devil May Cry is the perfect example here, though, where every game that we saw is coming at you with like a level of graphical capability now and polish that it seems like the things that are getting on stage, it's like the people who are making the decisions are just going, no, you're not up to snuff. Like, we need the top tier, like the absolute, the icing on the cake to show people. And just everything that we saw was that top tier of polish this year. What was your other surprise you wanted to talk about?
Dying Light 2. That game looks unbelievable. I mean, like, more than most of these games, you've got like a working government where if you make one decision, it's going to affect the outcome of the game. And that is, oh my God, I was so shocked because Dying Light 1 was one of those games. I saw it, I really wanted it, but then I saw it turning up on the second-hand shelves very quickly. So I guess people had enough really quickly. So
no, dude, Dying Light 1 is a fantastic game.
Since then I've come to how good it is because my brother plays it a lot and he streams it. And it looks really good. So I will pick that up and play it because of how impressed I was with Dying Light 2.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll be one game that you really enjoy. The controls are a bit funky. Like, there's buttons in places that you wouldn't think to logically put them. But that's like every game. Like, some developers or some publishers always stick with a certain way of controlling, and you just get used to them. So, I couldn't get into it too much because of the controls. But everything that I've heard from people who did manage to get into it were just like, oh, fantastic, absolutely brilliant game. I thought exactly the same when they started. When they said, oh, it's Dying Light 2, I knew straight away because it looked very Techlandy. Like, you could tell who developed it. Like, that's Dying Light 2, that is. And I wasn't really hyped for it. But then when they started breaking it down and talking about, like what you're saying, the governments and the decision processes and how it's not... Every game for so long has gone... well, the game reacts to your decisions. And it's like, okay, so if I did this, there's a blue bit over there instead of a red bit. And I can access a different side to the shop vendor than the other one. This is like a completely different thing where it changes the whole city.
It could be the first game since L.A. Noire to actually have different endings and different outcomes to the game. L.A. Noire is the only game I know of that's done that properly. You know, there's like...
Yeah, there are other examples, Detroit on PlayStation being one prime one, but I get where you're coming from in the way that it does it.
Yeah.
Instead of just being a series of, I'll take this path, please. Like, this is going to be a much more natural... You're going to complete the game and you're going to talk to your mate and just go, oh, the ending was wicked. That bit when such and such did that, and they're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
When what?
And then you have to go back and play it.
Exactly, yeah. Games like that are wicked. What else did we see?
Right, I've got 3 more things here. And what I've done is, what we've just talked about, I've put 3 day one releases to one side. Okay? The 3 games that I really want to buy day one. But let's talk about these last 3 things that I've got, then we can move on to Nintendo and PlayStation.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, I wasn't that impressed.
Really? Oh, okay. So, did you watch Okay, yeah, right. You roll with it, and then I'll throw my
the gameplay looks fantastic. The gameplay looks just like a normal Tomb Raider. In fact, it looks more Tomb Raider than the other 2. If that makes sense. So that is impressive. But the graphics look a bit strange to me. If they got a new graphics engine, they did mention something, a new type of graphics. I don't know what's going on, but it just doesn't look fluid. And like, with Tomb Raider 1, when she get dirty and the water would like shine off her face and she looked really fluid but she looked human. It looked real. It looked great. Whereas this one kind of looks like graphics. Does that make sense to you?
It does. I don't know whether you caught Square Enix's showing of it, though. Microsoft had just like the CGI part and I think a few snippets of gameplay in it, if I remember rightly. Square Enix had a 3 or 4 minute gameplay segment and it looked like you were playing a Predator game. It was awesome. Sneaking up, like they've, you know how in Tomb Raider it's all contextual, so when you get close to something, if there's an enemy, she hides behind it. There's no hide behind it button. She just does it contextually. With this, it's all they've dialed that up to 11, where you can hide going through the bushes and in ledges and long grass and all that kind of stuff. And it just looked a lot like they've gone, we want to start bringing it back into the old generation again a bit, but still moving it on with the new gen. I think this is going to be an awesome way of them achieving that.
Yeah. It's nice to see Lara Croft, who I consider as a bookworm and a bit of a goody two-shoes, fucking up as well, because it's obviously, by the looks of it, she kind of makes a mistake and unleashes hell. So, you know, that's going to be a different spin on things.
Yeah, she has been the most unsuccessful video game character in the last 3 of their own titled games this generation. She's just, Lara, you're pretty shit, aren't you? You're alright when I'm controlling you, but otherwise you're pretty shit. You can't really do too much. You die quite a lot, don't you?
I hate those bits where A flashes up and you got to hammer A and then you got to hammer X, and it reminds me of Shenmue. They used to do that, yeah. But I'm not too keen. I'm not too keen on those bits. I like to have full control. So, second one I need to mention before we get on to other things is Metro. Fuck me, Metro. Artyom is my bitch. I love that guy. I'm so excited. Yes. I'm so excited. Let me explain to you about things like Dying Light and things. I like to in series. I did the same thing with Assassin's Creed. I waited and I played them all in one go, and I did the same with Metro. And Metro is one of the best games I've ever played, and I can't be any happier for Metro. I'm so excited. I really am. That's a day one release for me. Absolutely can't wait. Get it in my dick right now.
I was watching Xbox reaction to that, and he did point out something that it didn't quite look as graphically amazing as the last year's showing.
Yeah,
but that was because it was more crafted last year. It was slower. This was an action-paced look at all the monsters. But that's what I was going to say was, look at all the monsters. The different animals and mutants that you're going against. It's going to be awesome.
No, the weapons look better as well. You're not going to get some shitty tube attached to an old battered shotgun with somebody's fucking pendant stuck on there as a target or something. You know, yeah. They look like proper, sophisticated, modern weapons as well, which is great. That's exactly what I like. The idea of craftsmanship where you have to kind of add bits on here to your shitty weapon, but it's nice they've given us something that we can actually be impressed with.
This is going to go into a plinth of 3 games that are better than Call of Duty without being Call of Duty, and that's Doom, Wolfenstein, and Metro are all first-person shooters that are way better than Call of Duty, that will never sell as many, but are just flat-out better games.
I would never want to play Metro online.
I don't think it will even have an online,
it won't be.
Will it?
No, it won't. It won't. But what I'm saying is if they go all Fallout on us and say, "Oh, Metro's going to become online," I'll be really annoyed because that story is so immersive and so brilliantly told with best atmospheric noises, lights, all sorts. You know, it's just brilliant. There's nothing better than going for a subway tunnel with a torch in the pitch black. Like it's amazing. Honestly, that game blew me away. So that's me. I'll put my boner away. For Tunic, fuck this fox, man. That's another one. I don't know what Tunic was, but I saw this fox.
It was a little fox Zelda. It's a throwaway game, but it's going to be a cool little...
I was just like, fuck this fox, man.
Yeah. Microsoft love their foxes. They've got Tunic. They've got Super Lucky's tail.
Yeah. We need Busby 3D back. That's what we need. 3D. The guy with the nuts. I love that game.
Battletoads!
I've never played Battletoads.
Oh.
And you've mentioned it to me before, and even now I forget what it is.
Oh, Battletoads. It's like a 2.5D side-scroller where it's just over-the-top, stupid, beat-em-uppy... it's just hard to describe. It's just a classic old sort of like Super Nintendo game, basically. that people have been screaming for a new one of. So we got a little tease there. We also got shown Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which, going by the first one, is going to be an absolutely amazing game.
Okay. I've got one more to talk to you about, and then we'll move on to other things.
Okay.
And I was quite disappointed by Just Cause 4, the trailer. Is it 4? It's 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it just looks more the same. But at the same time, I want more of the same, so I'll buy it first day.
This is the thing. This Just Cause 4 has got a free pass because 3 was so buggy and laggy and framey that you've hit the nail on the head. We needed more of the same with decent performance, but then just add some more stuff over the top, like tornadoes or sandstorms or better graphics. And that's what this is going to be. So again, whether my wallet won't be able to keep up with all these games for sure, but it would be, if I had all the money in the world, like, that would be a day one for me as well. I get why.
Let's have better car physics than Road Rash. At least, come on.
Nothing needs better car physics than Road Rash. That's the pinnacle, brah. Did Microsoft have anything else? Have I missed anything? There was Game Pass talk. There was studios. There was the 3 normal. The Microsoft only have Gears, Halo, and Forza talk. There was all the other third party. Little random last bits and bobs. New Xbox is in the making, which is probably going to be next year or the year after. They are pushing ahead with game streaming, with proper cloud GPU based game streaming, so you can play on any device, be it your smartphone. I think, because there's a lot of talk about multiple next generation Xboxes, I think they're going to do a handheld finally. And they're going to have it Windows 10.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think that's exactly what I need.
Yes.
Is a handheld Xbox. I'm getting a Switch this Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's no secret. I'm getting one for Timmy mainly. I'll be taking it to work every now and again. But so I'd like something like the Switch where I can just take it to work with me if I need to. I mean, I don't mind if it's on the smaller screen. If I could sit and watch Just Cause and blow shit up.
It's a huge opportunity for them though. Like, I don't think you'd quite get your Just Causes on there, but there's a huge opportunity of all last gen, all of you'd still get 60% of the games up to a certain graphical capability on there. No other company has the infrastructure and the system sort of gelling together like Microsoft does with Windows 10 and back compat and Game Pass and all of that stuff, to just go, here's a handheld, it runs on certain architecture that all of your 100-odd 360 games just work. Like, when you get a Switch, you've got to buy everything fresh. Xbox could just go, here's a handheld, your games are on it.
And you can use the stuff on your hard drive as well, yeah.
Yeah, so there's such an opportunity.
Okay, explain to me what the fuck is going on with Fallout, because there's lots of conversation about where they're going with Fallout, why this. How dare you take our bubble and pop it, meet other people to our party? I like to sit there and play the game by myself, and I like to sit there in my pants and play Fallout, but now I've got to invite other people into my bubble. Why would you do this? So explain, please.
To take Don Matrick's 2013 phrase of, if you want a console that doesn't have always online, there's a console for you called the 360. If you don't want Fallout and you don't want Fallout Online, there's a game for you. It's called Fallout 4. This is just a separate thing. It really is. It's just, they've done a Fallout game for the people that do want to play with their friends. I've got 2 best friends who Fallout is their jam. They're going to be playing Fallout 76 together like you would not believe. That's going to be their life sorted. It's basically going to be like an online game, like an MMO, but without the shitty MMO elements. It's just like, this is just a proper game with co-op. And if you watch their Todd Howard is an absolute genius. He's got a perfect way of presenting, where he embraces the hard questions and he takes the piss out of himself in doing so. So when he came out on Bethesda's stage, he was just like, don't worry, it's in good hands. we know that all of all of y'all's butts clenching right now. Don't worry, it's just Fallout, but you've got people in there. We know what we're doing. And he embraced that. So, Fallout, I struggle with. Like, I got excited about 4, and then I got it and didn't really enjoy it. So I've struggled to get into that. So I'm probably not going to be going out and buying Fallout 76, but it's just a different Fallout game. It's not Fallout 5. That's the thing. It's like Fallout New Vegas was to 3. It's just an extra one. It's a treat this generation to get a second, and it's just online.
Like with Assassin's Creed, would have went Brotherhood and
exactly. It's your treat. It's your extra bit on top. It's your slice of cake that you shouldn't really have because you've already eaten too much. Like, just accept
you should have said that in a
Cockney
Cockney accent.
It's just slice of
it's your treat. It's your little bit on the side. It's your little bit extra that you deserve, mate.
It's a bit of cramp it on the side. It's cramp it and more white, isn't it? They announced Elder Scrolls at the end. Oh,
this is exactly what you wanted.
Oh god, it's got to be next gen. Don't get me wrong. I am not expecting that within the next 3 years, but just to know it's being made, like, this is that there topped off E3 for me. Like, if this 2018 E3 didn't have that, I'd have been like, that was one of the best ones ever. This made it perfect.
You need to be fucking careful, you do, because, like, if you found out your missus was pregnant, you were like, oh, wow, this is great. And then she hears you going, oh, they're doing an Elder Scrolls. You're in trouble, son.
Did you see the Blades game that they did? Did you watch the Bethesda E3?
To be honest with you, the 2 days that I was in work for 3 nights, 2 of those nights were absolute mayhem where I didn't have time to breathe, never mind sit down and watch them. So I did miss quite a bit. I could have watched them back, but I've had a pretty shitty week, to be honest, so I haven't had a chance. I'm sorry. I watched a few.
They showed this Elder Scrolls game that was coming out on phone, and I was expecting like another card trading game. It's a full-on RPG on your phone, and he was just like, seriously, when we show you this, your jaws are going to drop. You won't believe it's a full-on game, but trust me, it's a full-on game. And they started showing it, and it looked better than Skyrim. It's got all the full functionality, but just with some smartphone-friendly, touchscreeny bits called Blades. And you've got an open world, you've got areas to go around, you've got dungeons. They're going to be bringing it to phones, consoles, Switch, everything. And it's like, it's a stopgap, of course it is. But it's, I was watching it, I was just like, my jaw is on the floor over a mobile phone game. Like, that's how good this thing was. And you know me, like, I don't play anything on my phone.
Giving people a real-time, a AAA looking RPG on a device that they carry around with them all the time. It's a cash grab. it's a cash grab.
No, it's not.
That's
it's completely free.
That's
free.
Great.
And I just think that's amazing. They must have put so much work into it to get it to run on those devices. Where there'll be some sort of cash mechanism in there. Of course there's going to be. But for them to put that out completely free, I just thought Bethesda absolutely nailed their E3. They've got new Doom. They've got Rage 2, which looked phenomenal. They're cross between your Metro and your Fallout, but with a bit of Doom splattered in there. Fallout and Elder Scrolls Mobile. Just absolutely nailed it.
Bethesda and Microsoft win it this year for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's go on to, we've been very Xbox centric at the moment. Let's move on to other consoles, other mediums. Let's talk about PlayStation for a bit, shall we?
PlayStation's one, I don't think you caught this one, did you? It was dire. It was like absolutely awful. The games that they showed were good, but their conference as a whole, they set it in this little dinky church tent, which they did because their trailer for The Last of Us, which was really clever, started in the same room. So it's like they were watching the other side to the room. It was really clever, like a proper pretentious artistic touch. But it was like, yeah, that's cool. And everyone was like, oh, when it started, they were like, oh, that's really good. You could hear them in the background. The Last of Us 2 looked incredible.
Yeah, Garrett was. I was chatting with Garrett last night. He was telling me it looks amazing. Yeah.
This is what we were on about before. This is the level of polish that Xbox needs to step up to with their games. Of all the little things. When they showed The Division for the first time a couple of years ago, they had a moment where he was hiding behind a car and he budged along and he shut the car so that he could use the rest of the cover. He shut the car door. And me and my mate was watching that and we were like, yes, they're the touches that I want this generation. And The Last of Us 2 is with it in spades. How you can crawl under cars contextually, and it's like a set piece, but it's just part of the world where you can squeeze through gaps in. Like Ellie was, she alerted some guards, and they cornered her into this room. So she had to go around this half moon shaped desk, squeeze round to the left, and then hide behind some like magazine racks. And she had to squeeze through to get to where she needed to be. And it was like a proper set piece, but it was just gameplay. Just like Naughty Dog are next level for that stuff. So it looked awesome. It looked brutal. It looked dirty. And it looked like every moment is going to have an element where like you had to execute someone. But that's just like you shot him in the leg. So you had a chance to execute him. But instead of going up and a QTE popping up, tap square, it's like... It made you feel bad for killing this dude. It's gonna be amazing. We had Spider-Man, which I was no more or less hyped about. It's just Spider-Man. We know what we're getting.
Fed up of hearing about fucking Spider-Man. It's doing my head in. When it's out, then we can talk about it.
See, I'm not, but I'm just sort of like, I can't get more hyped for it. That's the thing. So it's reaching a flat plateau for me at the moment. Then we saw Death Stranding, which was the biggest pile of shit ever. Everyone's going on about it. I'm just like, mate, that's a walking simulator with Norman Reedus. Like, you just walk and you're carrying a baby trying to not get into the line of sight of some invisible ghosts.
That's done by the same people that who made that? It was the same people from Uncharted.
No. That's Naughty Dog. That's The Last of Us. Death Stranding is Kojima, so Metal Gear Solid. Oh, okay. So you know what kind of fucked up story it's going to be. But it just looks awful to me. Graphically, yeah, looks really nice. But there's no gameplay to it. Like, you literally didn't do anything. They showed like a full 10 minutes of gameplay, and you did nothing.
He's been really coy about it, though, hasn't he? He's doing it on purpose. There's a reason why he's doing this. He's like, oh, we'll give you a little bit, and you see a little bit, but he's kind of enjoying the anticipation almost.
Because he's an arrogant prick, and this is the problem with the sort of I say this as someone who is really enjoying his PlayStation. So anyone who's like, oh, you're an Xbox fanboy, yeah, I kind of am, but at the same time, I'm pretty fucking reasonable with it. This is the problem with like the proper hardcore Sony is God side of the Sony fan base, is that they will get egged on with Kojima because he's Kojima, and they'll listen to your IGNs who give Metal Gear Solid a 10 out of 10 but only played 3 hours of it and didn't take into the fact that it gets slow as fuck when it gets into the open world. They'll listen to all of that and be like, oh my god, it's a 10 out of 10. And mark my words, Death Stranding will be a 10 out of 10, but it'll be the worst fucking game you have ever played in your life. People will love it because it's Kojima.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, and I can't even remember what the fourth game Sony showed off was.
Well, fuck PlayStation. I'm joking. Let's move on. Let's go to Nintendo, because they had some
before we do that, I just want to point out as well how awful the actual conference was in the background. They had, in between games, they had like 10-15 minute interludes where they took it back outside to like a press conference bit where it was like, you know, the after show interviews, not even the after show where you're excited about stuff, the pre-show interviews. They were explaining what the conference is going to be about during the conference. It's like, just give me the conference. It's like Xbox
was like bam, 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 bam. It was Yeah, it was quite good how they did it with the Xbox. So I can imagine.
It was an awful show. It's just that they're lucky that they had Spider-Man and The Last of Us. Nintendo are gonna make fucking dollar fucking bills, and I can't keep not swear. I'm sorry, but to get the point across, they are gonna make money like no one is making money this next coming year or so.
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to make money off me for sure because I'm buying a Switch this year. I can't wait to get onto the Nintendo family. There's loads of games that I really need to get up to date with, and I'm not going to necessarily get that on the Switch, I know. but but I've never played a Super Smash Bros. And I feel really guilty about that. So I'm so glad they're bringing out Super Smash Bros.
Ultimate as well. Have you seen any of the stuff behind it? It's not just another Smash Bros. Game.
No?
This is they chose the word ultimate deliberately. It has. So I saw a thing beforehand, a bit of a leak, and it was like, this is the Smash Bros. Roster, and it was like pages, and I was like, fuck that. That's like a fanboy. Oh, look at the Smash Bros. Roster, as in a leak that isn't a leak, and everyone's like, oh, you dickhead. It was real. They have every fighter that has ever appeared in a Super Smash Bros. Game from day one up to now, and more, all appearing. They've got like all the stages. They've got a fully revamped fight system where they've got all the gameplay mechanics blended perfectly. It's like there is no need for another Smash Bros. Game. This is like, for me, you know, when they released Master Chief Collection, if that worked properly, if they did that and they just said, you know what, we've remade it all with Halo 5's engine, that's what this is for Super Smash Bros. Fans.
Is it true they've left Waluigi out?
No, it's everything's in there.
Okay, so I saw a meme floating about with the Waluigi. I saw Solid Snake as well. Was that right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's pretty fucking awesome.
They've got Snake, Ryu. They've got all the Pokemon. They've got loads of third-party characters in there. All the random guest characters that they've ever had. I think they've got Ryu Hayabusa as well from Ninja Gaiden, if I remember rightly. They've got loads of stuff in there. So that's a huge one.
If you switch the fuck up for next year, I'll definitely play you on that.
I'm trying to fight the urge because there's other games, like, all these games. I'm just like, I want them all. Pokemon. I know that you didn't play the Game Boy Pokemons, but holy shit, this is the game that Pokemon fans have been asking for years.
It does look revolutionary. It does, because you're mixing what people have been used to with the Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
You're mixing that with your portable device everywhere, and then you can take it home and play with whatever you've got. Because from what I get, you can just take your Switch around, catch Pokemon, take them home, and put them into the game.
Yeah, yeah, that's literally it. And you've got the Pokemon Go catching mechanics for your wild Pokemon, which does mix things up. People will be like, oh, I want fighting all the time. That's fair enough, I get that. But at the same time, I want something new. I don't just want Pokemon Yellow on the Switch. But in doing so, I don't want them to change it so much. I want a nice middle ground. And that's what this middle ground is. They've still got the classic Pokemon Stadium type fighting mechanics and Game Boy fighting mechanics when you're doing your bosses and your trainers and stuff like that, but they've just got a very nice, easygoing, relaxing wild catching mechanic. They've got the world. Kanto is the region, the world from the first Game Boy game. So all the adults are going to be there teaching their kids about the old first Pokemon. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, I know exactly where they were. I knew which patch of grass was in there. I knew the ratios of which Pokemon were likely to be caught in there. And like, as a 28-year-old to sit there and like unashamedly like know the areas in an old Pokemon game, it's like they've just captured that nostalgia, but with a layer of polish that's not like, oh, it's 90% what I want, but not quite there. This is just all in. Take my fucking money.
All I'm going to say about this, the only negative, which is a good negative at the same time, is the rate of muggings is going to go up because people are going to be like, oh, he's got a Switch. Let's punch him in the face and take it. It's going to be kids running around with their Switches catching Pokemon. But that would be great to see because I remember like when you go outside to play with your mates, there'd always be someone with a Game Boy. There'd always be someone with a Game Boy. Somebody would be sat there playing it. Yep. You don't see that stuff anymore. And it'd be nice to see people walking around handhelds again. So.
Yeah, with Pokemon, which was always the game that they were playing when they were out. Because I remember as a kid, like... You wouldn't sit indoors and play your Game Boy. You'd go out and you just sit on a bench for no apparent reason. And that's what I think, hats off for Nintendo for not just going, here's a console with 8 gig of RAM with x86 architecture that we can run all the same games. Hats off for keep taking a risk. You don't hit the nail on the head all the time, but when you do, you create something like the Switch and there's your recipe for putting these games on, and it's just awesome.
What do you think about Nintendo bowing down to the Fortnite pressure?
I think that's an awful way of putting it. I don't think they've bowed down to the Fortnite pressure. They want as many games on there as possible. And if you were Nintendo and you had a handheld and you had the possibility to put the most popular explosion of a popularity game on there ever, you'd be straight on it.
Do you know what Fortnite reminds me of? It reminds me of Agent Smith from The Matrix. You know how it just starts replicating itself and just taking over the world. Because it's like you've got these amazing games, like Forza Horizon, Gears of War. These amazing games that do so much and it takes so much effort to make, and then you got. Which is it's a great game to play with your mates and stuff, but
it's really not. If you haven't played it, it's awful. No. It's the biggest pile of shit that you've ever played in your life. Apparently, the base building mechanics and stuff like that, i.e., the game that it was originally meant to be, is really fun. But then the slapped on "Let's beat PUBG to the punch" battle royale mode, I just can't get into. I tried 2 times, and it's just awful. But they are going to start printing money. That with Pokemon, with Smash Brothers, with the promise of Metroid 4 probably getting shown next year. They didn't really need to show anything else outside of that.
We never saw anything of the Garbo, did we? It's really just disappeared. Is it Garbo? The cardboard.
Oh, the Labo.
Labo, that's a Gabo. Yeah. Gabo. Yeah, it just kind of died.
Yeah,
like we predicted.
Is what it is. What else was there? There was a couple of like Japanesey stuff. Great to have on there. Overall, just a really good showing. They were getting a lot of hate, to be honest. Not a lot of people enjoyed it as much as I think I did, but I thought what they showed was exactly what they had to show this year.
Yeah. I think Xbox definitely pulled out all the stops this year. Xbox and Nintendo, I've got to be fair to Nintendo. Mm. It's the dog barking outside. Great. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, as well, just going back to the Fortnite thing, is that Sony's policies on not allowing people to cross-play has absolutely given them a shitstorm at the perfect time. They are not going into this next generation well for PR. Like IGN, GameSpot, all the people who are just like, oh, PlayStation, give us clicks, let's hype them up. They're all putting negative shit out for PlayStation at the moment, and Xbox is getting nothing but praise, and it's weird to see. And it's like that PR fanboyism playing field is starting to reset now because of the X, because of this E3. It's what you get when you do a flawless E3, is you don't give the media anything to make you an easy target. And PlayStation have done nothing but that.
It's crazy that you're saying that, because like just the same time last year, or just not even a year ago, we were talking about how PlayStation is just going to dominate everyone. Mm-hmm. And now the cards have flipped, Yep. And why the fuck not let people cross-play? It's a great way of just opening up the world, the gaming world, to people. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And I was seeing tweets like from journalists and stuff like that. It's like, why did no one warn us about not to play Fortnite on the PlayStation 4? And I put a comment on there, which is like, not being funny, but that's your own fault. What you should do is you should look at a company and the way that they operate and their policies and the way that they do things and read between the lines and make wise decisions from there. If you've got a company, okay, maybe they aren't putting out games that are as polished as The Last of Us and things like that, but you get Game Pass, crossplay, backwards compatibility, streaming, free shit left, right, and centre. You know, they throw accessibility stuff at you. That shows like the mentality behind it. That should speak a lot more for where you should choose to buy your games. Home console, where I can buy digital games and you can play them for free, Al. Things like that should like influence where you actually play 90% of your games and then just get the exclusives elsewhere. So, yeah.
You know what would be the best E3 for me would be the one where Sega rock up and they're like, here's the Sega Saturn 2 or something like that. Oh my God. Could you imagine the one year that happened? It's got to happen.
The Sega Mega Ultra Drive.
I miss playing on a Sega. I really do. Great.
Last one before we rock the hell up out of here is I just want to touch on Ubisoft because we haven't done that yet. Square Enix was just Kingdom Hearts and they didn't show anything else. They were supposed to fucking show Avengers and they never did, the bastards.
Yeah.
I tuned into that and literally on the edge of my seat. I was cooking dinner while not even looking at what I was doing because I was like trying to look outside the door to the TV and they never showed it. Ubisoft started off with Just Dance with a really crazy over the top sort of camp dance routine like they always do, and then they went into Division 2, they did Skull and Bones, they did Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Crew 2, they did loads of stuff. Takeaways, Division 2. Division 1's on Game Pass. If you do take the plunge even for a month for $7.99, I want you to try Division. I'd love to go into that with you because it's a very good game. I didn't pick it up because the ship sailed and I started playing it. I was like, wow, I missed out. Really miss out.
There's to try, but you go in there and you got people that are level a million and
Dude,
just straight up take
you
it.
don't have to. You forget the Dark Zone. Go in, guns blazing, co-op, doing your missions together in matchmaking. It's so tactical and everything that you could want out of like Ghost Recon, but in a more like you're in New York. It's awesome. Like you take left, I'll take right. You know, go for this guy, take a headshot. You deploy this bit of gear, all of that. That back and forth between you would be amazing. So I'm excited to see what Division 2 is going to bring.
The trailer for Division 2 was great. They showed the gameplay, and they're all chatting amongst each other, and they're like, oh, I'm taking cover, throwing a frag, I need help, I need this. You know, the way they were talking was great in retrospect, but it wouldn't be like out with strangers. It'd be like, oh, dickhead! Where are you going?
That's why you go in with your friends, and that's the reason why I missed it, because I don't sort of have like scheduled friends on Xbox too much, because I'm never on when the people that I talk to are necessarily on there for gaming. Like I hang out there for like 5-10 minutes or 20 minutes on a weekend, and then that's the chance that I get. So I can't get into an open world shared MMO. That's going to have to change with Anthem. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. Skull and Bones seemed a little bit sort of Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, ship elements. Yeah. Looked awesome, but it's not one that I think I'm going to get.
Is it Sea of Thieves done properly?
It's Sea of Thieves done properly for yourself, yeah. That's the kind of level of polish and graphics that if Sea of Thieves had, people wouldn't be complaining about. But at the same time, it's going to be very shallow gameplay. So it's.
I just want to apologise to the Sea of Thieves fan, because for months all I've done is run this game down. But I've got a particular taste in graphics, and I can't play a game with someone that looks like they've got water on the fucking brain, okay? Yeah. It bugs me. I like to fire a cannon that isn't hexagonal, that is round. Do you know, I struggle with it. So that's my only reason why I don't like Sea of Thieves. I like things to look nice. So
Sea of Thieves looks nice, you whiny bitch. Looks better than
yeah,
you fucking do, you ugly twat.
if you're a fan of Hunchback or Notre Dame, yeah.
No, I get where you're coming from there. The big one. Okay, so Assassin's Creed. I want to spend the last 10 minutes just going into this because this is a big one for me.
Hold on. Let me take my trousers down.
I picked up Origins yesterday, £20 pre-owned. It's fucking amazing.
I missed out on it. Somebody was selling it for £10 on Telford Sales, and I missed out on it because somebody got it there before me. I was well quoted.
Dude,
£10.
it's different. Okay, that's one thing I'll say. But I'm happy that it's different. I've had enough of, I'm air quoting right now, of Assassin's Creed. I'm getting more and more into my open world games, my Horizon Zero Dawns, that kind of free open world, do what you want when you want games. And Assassin's Creed has taken that away with their new parkour mechanics. What they've got now is literally just, as you're moving, there's no hold. In Assassin's Creed, you're already holding a combination of your left and right triggers to change the context. Yeah. Now, it's just however far forward you're pressing your analog stick is how fast you're going to move. If you hold A while doing so, you'll go up stuff. If you hold B while doing so, you'll go down stuff. And that's it. That's your parkour. And it's smooth as shit because of it. That's done is that's freed up all the rest of the buttons to actually do something interesting. And they've taken sort of like an action RPG gameplay style, and they've just slapped an Assassin's Creed story over a completely different style of game. It's really, really different. It's Origins. And
what I like about Ubisoft for this, it's like you said, it's smooth, it looks fantastic, the gameplay, and that's because Ubisoft would be like, after what happens with
Unity,
they were told, you know what, Ubisoft, go sit in the corner and think about what you've done. So they're like, okay, we'll do that, and they did it, and look what's happened.
Yes, and what they've done. Okay, so I think this is obviously it's going to be an annual franchise again, and we made a comment when we did our predictions that that's what we don't want. But they don't just have one studio doing Assassin's Creed; they've got 2 or 3, i.e., like Call of Duty. That year off has allowed them, all of their studios, to have a full development cycle into each game.
Yeah.
So they can put that out, and what they've done is they've reset the story. I know you said you want to continue with the numbered versions. You want to find out the more on the Desmond side of things.
Desmond.
I've had enough of all that. I just want a pretty looking action RPG set in a different time zone each year. I've just picked up the one in Egypt. I'm not even treating it like an Assassin's Creed game. I'm treating it like I keep saying, an action RPG. We're going to have one set in Greece, and I just want to keep them doing one in each different time zone. I want them to do a feudal Japan, and then I want them to do a China. Odyssey looks incredible.
It does look incredible. I want to go back to something we talked about a couple of weeks ago as well. Odyssey, the whole Sparta, right?
Yeah,
Sparta.
It's Greece, Macedonia, Sparta. It's that time frame. It's democracy. It's the story of 300. It's phalanx formations, and there's going to be probably lots of gay talk in there. But Spartans were all gay.
Stab a motherfucker. Was Sparta before or after ancient Egypt? Because
before. We're going way back in time, dude.
Okay, because I was talking about this with Garrett last night. We had a good chat about gaming, and he was saying, how can Assassin's Creed Origins be Origin if the Odyssey is before Origins? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the story that it's telling, and it's more of just a marketing thing of we're revamping it. So this is Origins. Odyssey, you're not going to be an assassin. You're just going to be something that planted a seed. Do you know what I mean? That's all it's going to be. It's going to be planting the seed in democracy and all of that kind of stuff. I've got to tell you the truth here, though. There's been a huge turn in gaming the last few years of making strong female leads. And you know us, anyone listening, we are not politically correct. We aspire not to be. So this isn't a politically correct comment in any way. I think I'm probably going to play through Assassin's Creed Odyssey as the girl. I think she's a more interesting character, whether it's just because that's the one that they showed off. But the guy didn't grab me as an interesting character at all, whereas the girl did. I like the fact that you can choose between the two as well, and it gives you that option.
You could do that with Syndicate, couldn't you? With Syndicate, you could play, and each one were better at certain things, you know.
It was on a mission basis, though, wasn't it? It was you could, every couple of missions you could decide to do the variable mission as either or. This is proper choose your character and stick with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be gorgeous. Just there's going to be ship mechanics in there as well. I don't know whether you saw. So they're going to have proper ship battles in it again. Can you imagine that? Tap X, tap X, tap X.
Okay, so can we go back to a conversation we had previously about Assassin's Creed? And this is me. We were talking about times in history where we'd like it to go, and I mentioned World War II, and you were like, "Scoff." And I've been thinking about it, right? And I was thinking about the Valkyrie, and I was thinking about the espionage and the sabotage and things like that. And I was thinking, if you could take Assassin's Creed and put it behind enemy lines in a situation where you're not running at bunkers, you're not on a beach, but you've got to be sneaky as fuck, take people down, blend in as a Nazi or even just as a German in a German town without being caught, wouldn't that be... Because as soon as you get caught, that's it, you arc of machine gun fire. I think that would be one of the most exciting Assassin's Creed ever made.
Possibly. The problem is that needed to be old gen Assassin's Creed. They've taken it down a new path where the gameplay style just does not match, and they couldn't mix it up that much and keep any sort of continuity with the fans.
No, I'm making it. I'm going to start now. I'm going to start drawing the characters right here. Okay, so he's going to be 6'5". He's going to wear a bowler hat.
I kind of... Yes, but at the same time, I wouldn't want it to all be stealth. Part of the thing with Assassin's Creed was you could choose the way that you went in. You could go guns blazing or you could do stealth. If you had that, you'd have to go in stealth or you'd have to give them weapons. And then what you've got is you've got Wolfenstein. You've got third-person Wolfenstein. So... Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd prefer them to do... Greece is possibly the one that I didn't think about, which was the best opportunity for them. So that is number one. Number two is feudal Japan. Number three is ancient China, proper Dynasty Warriors, Three Kingdoms China. And then outside of that, I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I don't know what are the eras they could do that they haven't already explored.
This is England 66. I'm rocking up as a mod, being like, oh, yeah, we don't like people that aren't from this country. Ah.
And on that bombshell, let's get the hell up out of it. Yeah, that was an awesome little roundup. So just all around, probably the best E3 that I've seen software-wise in probably forever. I don't think I've had a list of games that all hit potentially 90 plus Metacritics if they all hit the mark that they look like they're gonna. And my wallet has never clenched its arsehole so much watching a live stream.
Especially after finding out you're going to be a dad.
Exactly.
Oh, what did have to happen now?
Exactly. So yeah, thanks for rocking out with us again and joining us another week. We're going to have a huge week of superhero bar fights coming up. So we did have a week off last week with the busyness. So we've got Deadpool versus Iron Man, Commander Shepard versus Snake. We've got Spawn versus Wolverine, and we've got Cloud versus Superman, all coming up this week. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you get all your notifications for when they drop. Give us a like and a share and all the good stuff, and we'll see you next week.
Don't end the show just yet. I've got a couple more things to say, motherfucker. Okay, basically, I just wanted to talk about the Brave and the Bold, a charity that I'm doing at the moment. I don't know if you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'm growing my hair for a year. People that know me were going like a weirdo with patches. Lauren, I have no right growing my hair, and I'm doing it to raise money for alopecia, mainly for like young girls that are suffering for alopecia, 13, 14, going through school, even if they're a bit older. And they've lost their confidence because they've lost their hair. So if I can raise a bit of money to get them some help or a bit of a wig or something that can help them, then that's what I'm going to do. The rules are I'm going to grow my hair for 6 months and raise whatever I can. After those 6 months, I need to raise £1,000 before I can cut my hair. Cool. That's it. That's the rule. And that's it. That's what I wanted to say. So thanks.
So you're going to look like a Jippo, basically, and look homeless because you can't really grow hair. I think what happens at the end, does that £1,000 go into your pocket? Because I think you've got alopecia.
Buy myself a wig. It's so
buy
depressed.
yourself a wig. No, definitely send me through the link. We can put that in the description below. So if you are sticking around to the end and that's something that interests you, you got a good heart or just a spare 50p to donate.
Yeah. It doesn't even have to be $10 or £10. It's just a quid. I'll do. All of our thousands of listeners around the world. If you're chuck a quid in.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us again, guys. Make sure you check out Superhero Bar Fight throughout the week, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out.